Hey guys, so my name is Whitney Howell. For those of you that don't know me, I am an artist with Seint, formerly Mascara Beauty, and today we are going to be doing my full face with my compact here. Has everything I need. If you followed me or you've seen some of my videos, you know this is the makeup that I used. It has everything I need for my face, from my highlights, contour, bronzer, lip and cheek colors, and then all the eyeshadows. And I also have my setting powder in here since my skin is a little bit on the normal to oily side. So today we are going to be focusing on a neutral brown eye. I have gotten a lot of requests for that lately, so I wanted to show you guys one of my favorite looks that I like to do with some pretty brown and neutral eyeshadows. So let's get started. So I'm going to start with the bronzer and blush brush. It is my favorite brush to use with this. I like to dip it into my main color and just smooth it on all over. I don't put it on too heavy. I just like to have an even look. This makeup is made to where it doesn't have to be layered because all of the products have coverage, from your brightening highlight to your main highlight to your contour. Everything has coverage in it. So if you do not want to layer like this, you could literally place all the colors on your face and then blend together. This is just a personal preference for me. This is just the way that I like to apply mine. There is no right or wrong way though. You can definitely apply this any way you prefer. Either way you apply it, it's always going to be quick and easy. And it's going to give such an amazing coverage, but still allow your skin to breathe. Okay. I'm going to swap brushes now, and I am going to go with the blend brush. I like to use this brush to put on my contour and to put on my brightening highlight. So I'm going to dip it the small end into my contour first. And I'm going to smooth that right under my cheekbone. I'm going to hug my cheekbone pretty tight, because I want to create that lift and create like a shadow so that it elongates my cheekbone. If you have pretty prominent cheekbones, you really don't want to have to kind of hug it as much. You don't want to go too much. You want to go a little more vertical. But if you don't have cheekbones and you're wanting to accentuate those to make them appear a little fuller, you can take and you can hug and kind of bring around and kind of sweep a little bit. That'll help to cup that cheekbone and to make it a little more prominent. I'm also going to bring this onto my jawline. I like to create a new jawline basically, which means I'm going to kind of slim this up. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a little bit of my contour here to create a shadow. So that becomes like my new jawline. If you do have a pretty prominent jawline and you're just wanting to kind of create a little bit of shadow to frame your face, just go right underneath the jawline and create that shadow there. I'm also going to go along the forehead. These are all the places you put your contour. I'm also going to go along the forehead and put this contour so that I'm framing this out, creating some dimension. And then the last place I'm going to go is along my nose. I do this with my finger. I like to elongate my nose a little bit, so I'm going to kind of bring it up, and I like to slim it. So I'm going to bring it right there on the very edge of the bridge of my nose. You don't want to go out too far because then it's going to make your nose appear wider, but you don't want to come too close either. So a good rule of thumb is just you want to have enough space to do the very tip of your finger right down the center of your nose. I have a pretty prominent tip to mine, so I'm just going to put my contour right here and bring it down. All right, let's do a little bit of color correcting under the eyes. They actually don't look too bad now that I've got my main color on, but I do like to neutralize that a little bit so that my brightening color can do its job and truly brighten. So I like to go in with a color called Frenchie. I'm also going to be using this on my cheeks today and probably my lips. but I just pat it on underneath the eye. It's got like a peachy orange tint, which is going to help with that blue under eye darkness. Okay, let that set for just a second, and I'm going to go in and do my brightener now. I'm going to switch my brush over to the other side, the more fluffy end of this brush, and I'm going to dip it into my brightening color. I'm going to do a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit right up through here. I'm going to go ahead with my finger and bring a little down. See how you just kind of bring your brightener right down the center of the nose. So it's super easy. If your nose is wider and you're wanting to slim it up, you just want to kind of come in a little closer. If your nose is very narrow and you're wanting to kind of make it appear, I hate to say larger, but to make it show, you can go down a little bit further with your contour. All right, now that my color corrector has sat for a couple seconds, I'm going to take with this fluffy end into my brightening highlight, and I'm just placing it over that color. Again, like I said, I know I layer mine some, but that's just because I prefer that. You do not have to layer it. I don't layer it all the time. All of your colors are going to have color to it and have coverage to it, so you do not have to layer everything. You can literally just place and blend. I'm going to go back with my bronzer and blush brush now, and I'm going to blend everything out. I'm going to start in the center of the face with my lighter colors and then work my way out. Okay, let's do some blush. I prefer to mix two colors. I just like to mix a lot. So I'm actually going to go with a color called Frenchie. I'm going to put this on first. Right there on the cheekbone. And that's such a pretty color. This is the same color I used underneath my eyes to color correct and neutralize the darkness there. And I'm also going to dip into a little bit of Bella bronzer. Look at that. Kind of intensifies it just a little. Isn't that so pretty? Such a pretty combo. Add just a little more Bella bronzer. Okay, so now I'm going to take and I'm going to set this with my Stay Spray. I'm going to use my bronzer and blush brush, the fluffy end, use my Stay Spray. And I'm just going to press this in all over. Up here. Now, I'm going to go and set this with a little bit of powder around the eyes and through my T-zone because, like I said, I am a little oily. I'm going to go into my powder brush, which is this brush here, and I'm literally just going to dip it right into my pressed powder. I'm going to press that in right underneath my eye. I tend to be a little more oily in that area. And then I just go through the T-zone with it. And that's really the only place I put my pressed powder at. Okay. So, we have a full face with the exception of eyes. So, let's do a pretty brown eyeshadow look. Okay, let's do some eyes. I'm going to start off first with just a color called Sabrina. She's just a good basic all over color. She has a little bit of sheen to her, but she's going to be a good color to go in. and give my eyeshadow a base to adhere to. When I put on my main shade all over, I always go in and put just a little bit of my highlight over on my eyes. And so I like to go in before I start with my eyeshadow and just do a good neutral tone all over. Okay, the next color I'm going to use is a little bit of a color called Valencia, this color here. She's a very warm color. She doesn't have a whole lot of tones to her, but she's going to be a perfect color to go in as a transition color. And I'm actually just putting her right in that crease. You can see how she adds just a little bit of depth to that side. See the difference? Do the same thing over here. She's going to give something for my darker color to adhere to. And just kind of create that transition. Okay. I'm going to flip my brush over and take a little bit of her along the bottom, just to create a little bit of a halo. And then I'll go in with my darker color also to line that out. But I just want to create a little bit of a halo look with her. Okay, so the darker color I'm going to use is actually one of our colors from the Advent calendar that will be coming out soon. It is called Figgy Pudding. It's actually the color right beside her. I'm going to use her as my darkest color in the outer crease. Isn't she so pretty? And if you'll notice, I'm just kind of darkening up that outer corner in like a V shape. Okay. I'm going to bring a little bit of her down to the bottom. If you wanted to recreate this look and you didn't get the Advent calendar colors, you could totally do this with Bird or Oak. Or if you wanted to go a little darker, Philly or Cocoa. But like I said, they are going to be releasing these again soon. So you'll be able to purchase individually, which is very exciting. And again, I'm just coming in with the color called Figgy Pudding, just in that outer corner, just to kind of darken that up a little bit. And then I'm going to go under the eye with her, create a little bit of a liner look. Okay. I think that's pretty good. Isn't she like a really pretty warm, rich brown look? Love her. Very warm. Not really any cool tones or anything with these colors. I'm going to take just a little bit more with the fluffy end of this brush now that I've got my concentration of color there. And just kind of soften this up and make sure everything is blended. Okay. I feel like my lighting changed a little bit. There we go. So pretty. Okay, so for finishing touches, I am going to go in with a color called Bright Eyes, which is this color here. lid. For a pop of sheen. And then I like to use a color called Photoshop along my brow bone. And then she's got a little bit of pinky tone, but look how she just brings it all together up here. So pretty. She's got a little bit of that earthy, she looks pink, but she's just very neutral to me. Now, if you mix her with some pink, she's going to be pretty pink. But she's just a very neutral, pretty color too. So I'm going to do just a tad bit of her right through here. All right, let's do some mascara and see what we're working with. Okay, so we're almost done. Look at these eye colors. Is it not so pretty? Just a perfect everyday warm, rich brown look. Even with fall being over with, being spring coming into summer, this is still a really gorgeous look for just like a bronzy brown everyday look. All right, so let's go in and do some lips and then we'll be done. So I'm going to use the multitasker brush and I'm actually going into this color here, which is my shadow contour. I use this on my face and I also use it to contour my lips with. So I just use it to do like a smudge line around my lips, like contouring them. So that it makes them a little more plump. All right, I'm gonna do just a little bit of plum, which is this color here. Just a really good neutral tone. And then I'm actually gonna get out my artist palette since I don't have this color in there. And I am gonna go in with a little bit of a color called Royal, which is this color here. She's like a pretty gloss shade. Okay, last thing I'm gonna do is I am going to add a little bit of shine because I like to add a little bit of shine to my lips. So I'm gonna do that with the illuminator called Georgia. Right there along the bottom. And right there across the top. And that's it. We're done. Simple, everyday eye look with some pretty brown shadows. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I will post a link for a color match and the link to shop for any of these colors, and we can help build you a palette. Anyway, y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching.